And I have returned upon a time. Once Upon a Time is an extremely complicated TV show, with the premise being basically that every single famous fairy tale character is connected on an intricate multiversal timeline and family tree, and people like Walt Disney travel the multiverse and record the events. I took up the incredibly daunting task of mapping it a few years ago, but that was messy because I used Photoshop to structure it, and the file ended up being like 10 gigabytes. So I finally decided to trim a few things from the original tree, and of course there are still a couple characters like the original Hansel and Gretel or Jefferson who I simply cannot find a way to bend over backwards into fitting here for my strict criteria. This time I wanted to do it properly and use Illustrator, of course, so I started checking out how other people tend to structure such diagrams, and it turns out all I should probably do differently is use a grid to keep it organized, and we're good to go. So here it is, my revised, final official family tree. Comment if I missed something, but make sure it doesn't violate my legend in any profound way. I tried sticking to just using their fairy tale names here, but still, if you haven't seen the show, then, oh no, you're in trouble. We start, of course, with Henry Mills. Henry's parents are, of course, Emma Swan and Neil Cassidy, with Emma's parents being Snow and Charming, and Neil's parents infamously being Rumple and Mila. Things are going to be looking a little lopsided at first, but it's just because there are soon to be dozens of other connections hiding in between. If you still haven't caught the legend, the black lines are genetic, so like parents and children. The red lines are any sort of romance except full-on marriage, which is green. Purple and blue are a little malleable, but don't push it. Purple means someone created someone else or altered them or built them, and blue means adoption or much more hesitantly mentorship. This is also far more logically intuitive than my other tree. If a line goes on top of a box, it means it's the product of that. If it comes out of the box, then the box is producing the line. The sides are equivalent relations, such as romance, and when two lines connect, they can produce a child all the same. The other obvious thing to point out is that I did color code the boxes too, with one very specific bit of criteria. The universe the character was physically born in is what corresponds to the color. Back to the tree. Rumple is the son of Peter Pan and the Black Fairy. Snow is the daughter of King Leopold and Queen Eva. Charming is the son of Ruth and Robert, but like his brother James, was adopted by King George. Leopold remarried to Regina, the original evil queen herself. Regina later adopted Henry Mills, wrapping things around already. Let's push forth. Regina's parents are Henry Sr. and Cora, the Queen of Hearts, whose respective fathers are King Xavier and just some random Miller. Cora also had a relationship with Jonathan, giving birth to Zelena, the Wicked Witch of the West. Zelena was then adopted by some random woodcutters in Oz. Regina had a relationship with Robin Hood, who was previously married to Marian, with whom he had a son, Roland. Marian was once with the Sheriff of Nottingham as well. Zelena pretended to be Marian to re-enter Robin Hood's life and destroy Regina's happiness, and the result was a daughter they also named Robin. Regina was also in a one-sided relationship with her magic mirror, and a debatably one-sided relationship with the huntsman, who also fell in love with Emma Swan. Regina's very first love, though, is Daniel. She hired Frankenstein to resurrect him, which is where this sort of creation line comes in. Frankenstein has his own family too, a father, Alphonse, and a brother, Gerhardt, someone he also tried resurrecting. He also mentored an assistant, Igor, and once again wrapping back around, Frankenstein had a brief and awkward relationship with Snow White herself. Rumpelstiltskin, the Beast, is married to Belle, the Beauty, daughter of Maurice and Colette. Together they had Rumpel's second son, Gideon Gold. Gideon was made the fairy godson of the Blue Fairy, but was kidnapped and raised by his own grandmother, the Black Fairy. The Blue Fairy is like 1,000 years old and has a disconcerting number of connections. First, she, along with Geppetto, created Pinocchio. Geppetto is the son of Stephen and Donna. Geppetto was adopted, though, by Jiminy Cricket after the once human Jiminy and his parents, Martin and Myrna, killed Stephen and Donna. And in an amusing mini-loop, Jiminy Cricket was turned into a cricket by, you guessed it, the Blue Fairy. This fairy is responsible for mentoring all of the other fairies except Fiona, and the result is a blue line connecting her to Silver Mist, Nova, Tinkerbell, and Cinderella's fairy godmother, which, yes, technically includes yet another blue line to Cinderella. Cinderella is the daughter of two unknown people, but her dad remarried to Lady Tremaine, who herself has daughters Tisbe and Clorinda. Cinderella, of course, married Thomas, son of the unnamed king, and they have a daughter, Alexandra. Clorinda, on the other hand, was dating a footman. Look what we've got now. Okay, let's keep going. Robin Hood created a band of merry men, which consisted of numerous randos, but only notably Mulan and Will Scarlet. Mulan had a crush on Sleeping Beauty Jr., and Will briefly dated Belle, just like Gaston did. Sleeping Beauty Jr. is the daughter of Sleeping Beauty Sr. and her royal husband, Stefan. Aurora's husband, though, is Philip, and they made another Philip. Mulan mentored Merida, yes, now we're Pixaring, and Merida's, of course, the daughter of Fergus and Eleanor alongside her three bros. Let me quickly fill in the spin-off show as well, like rapidly fast. Will Scarlet's married to the Red Queen, who was married to the Red King, and as you can imagine was mentored by the Queen of Hearts. Her mother is a mother, and Tweedles for Tweedles. She had a rather incomprehensible relationship with Jafar, who was raised by both a Mara and a blacksmith, but in actuality is the son of the Sultan of Lower Agrabah and his mistress Alma. Mirza is the actual heir to the Sultan title, though. Amara's mentorship of Jafar was filling the void left by her three sons, Taj, Rafi, and Cyrus, the last of whom married Alice from Wonderland and had a daughter. Alice's daughter, too, the daughter of Edwin, who remarried Sarah and had Millie in Victorian England, the same homeland in which Alice was taken and locked away by Dr. Lydgate, father of Mary, of the Jekyll and Hyde love triangle, born of the Doctor himself, Hyde's Orderly's pool. I'm on a roll. Where to next? Emma dated the Wizard of Oz! Zelina dated Hades, taking this tree from fairy tales to Greek mythos. Hades is, of course, the son of Kronos alongside Zeus and Poseidon. Poseidon's daughter is Ursula, and Zeus' son is Hercules, who had a relationship with both Megara and, way back over here, with Snow White. Again. Zeus and the other gods dropped the Holy Grail down on Earth and gave Merlin his Merlinness. Merlin dated Nimue and mentored both King Arthur and the closest thing this show has to Mickey Mouse, the Apprentice. Arthur married Guinevere, but she loved Lancelot, son of the Lake Lady. And are you ready? Here comes the biggest back to where we started moment yet. The Apprentice mentored Lily, daughter of Zorro and Maleficent, who herself was resurrected by Rumple. Lily was adopted by James Page. Alright, let's head into some Frozen territory. Emma was adopted by the Snow Queen, who herself is the aunt of Anna and Elsa from Frozen. Ingrid's sisters are Gerda and Helga, Gerda being their mother, and their father being some dude. These original princesses are the children of Sonia and Harold, and Helga was engaged to a man crushing on Ingrid known as, yes, the Duke of Wesselton himself. Anna, of course, dated Hans, but married Kristoff, who was adopted by rock trolls. Frozen, everybody. Zelina was adopted by rock trolls. Frozen, everybody. Zelina was taken in by Glinda the Good Witch, who also took in the Eastern Witch and the Northern Witch, a woman who helped make the Tin Man tin, from what I remember. They also took in Dorothy Gale, who was raised by her Auntie Em. Dorothy had a relationship with Red Riding Hood, who had previously also dated Peter and Billy. Red was forcefully taken in by the Dunbrock Witch, but was raised by her granny because her actual mother was out partying with werewolves she adopted like Quinn. We're getting closer to the end now. Emma married Hook and had a baby named Hope. Oh, speaking of babies, Snow and Charming also had Prince Neil, actual anti-ensemble Dark Horse headass. Hook and his brother Liam are the children of Brennan Jones, who went ahead and had a second Liam who ended up being adopted by Captain Nemo. Hook also took in Smee, just like his rival Blackbeard did. Charming was to marry King Midas's daughter, but she was in love with Frederick. Charming's brother, on the other hand, dated both Jacqueline of the Beanstalk and the sickest psychopath this side of fur fashion, Cruella de Vil. Cruella is the daughter of Madeline, and this is yet another spot where you can see I'm just not including the unnecessary tiny things like Cruella's dead fathers. Cruella dated the author and married a man named Feinberg. By the way, Rumple's son was also taken in by the Darling family. Parents Mary and George, children Wendy, John, and Michael. Neil also dated Tamara, who dated Greg, son of, is that the shepherd? Alright, now we're finally onto the weird and overly complicated clone parts of the tree. Regina created the evil queen from Jekyll's serum, and said queen created the wish realm with Aladdin's genie abilities. Aladdin is dating Jasmine, daughter of the Sultan of this time the capital of Agrabah. The wish realm is home to mainly the Wish Robin, who married the queen, and Wish Hook, which is where season 7 the real messy shit comes in. Alright, Wish Hook and Mother Gothel had a secondary iteration of Alice from Wonderland, who went on to date Zelina and Robin Hood's daughter. Gothel is actually the daughter of Mother Nature, who, along with Yarrow, are from the land without magic before it was without magic. This all led Gothel to creating the Coven of the Eight, of which notable members include Seraphina, Leota, the Hedge Witch, and the Blind Witch, the last of which is where I draw the line at overcomplicated, considering this is not the normal Blind Witch, who I couldn't fit on this tree, but rather a second iteration. But it's it's not just that. It's the fact that she's not from the second iteration of the Enchanted Forest like the rest of Season 7, but rather from the original Oz. It makes no sense, and it gets worse. The second iterations of Hansel and Gretel are the children of Ivo, crush of the Wicked Witch, but these three are also from the original Oz, and Hansel also doubles as the second iteration of Jack from the Beanstalk, plus he dated, well, give me a second, I'll reconnect this other line in a moment, because also in that coven is Drizella Tremaine. She was engaged to Prince Gregor, one of the two sons of the new Enchanted Forest's king. Drizella is the daughter of Rapunzel Tremaine, along with Anastasia, and their father is Marcus. He remarried to Cecilia, mother of the second iteration of Cinderella, which is exactly where that stray red line locks into place. Even more shocking is that Cinderella 2.0 is Henry Mills' very own wife, and their daughter is named Lucy. Rapunzel Tremaine adopted Lucy as well, sort of reminiscent to Regina and Henry. Henry also dated Violet, daughter of, I shit you not, the Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's court. Regina dated Facilier, who took in Naveen, who dated Tiana, whose mother's Eudora. Dear Lord, last and, yes, least. We just have to fill in a couple of little details. Rapid fire, go. Mila dated Hook. Regina altered Ariel, who was dating Eric. Emma's mentor was Cleo Fox, and Cleo's daughter was Tasha Morris. Queen Ava's arguably taken in handmaiden was Joanna, and by that logic, Snow's was Charlotte, eyed upon by the Count of Monte Cristo. Pam swapped Rumple for the Lost Boys, and Rumple swapped Pam for the Spinsters. Rumple's fairy godmother was Tiger Lily, who of course was mentored by Blue. Cora was engaged to Snow's dad, and Zelina was engaged to Chad. Rumple had relationships to both of these women as well. Wizard had a crush on Little Scarlet, as did Silvermist. Two fairies had forbidden relationships, though, and this other one was Nova, who was dating Grumpy the Dwarf. Dwarfs also adopted Snow White and Anton, one of the giants, and with that, I ask one final question. How is any self-respecting individual supposed to be able to follow this? Casual viewers? Unheard of. I'm probably the closest thing to an expert on this specifically, and I don't even know if I have everything I was seeking to have. Who knows? If you can compel me enough by bending someone like Bo Peep to fitting my criteria, maybe I'll make some add-ons. I really wish I could sell this tree. Maybe I will make it merchandise, but I hear copyrighted characters are a big no-no, so... oh no.